Hello, welcome to another breakdown video. Today I'm going to be breaking down the Shins song Phantom Limb. I'm a huge Shins fan. I love James Mercer's songwriting. I really appreciate his gift for melody and how he works with melody and how he works his chords into his melodies. And it's really interesting. And this song, gives me definitely a kind of a Brian Wilson vibe. And there are quite a few songs of the Shins that do kind of make me think of the Beach Boys. Their early stuff definitely makes me think of Beach Boys, early kind of like psychedelic, very early psychedelic Pink Floyd, things like that. This song is a little more modern rock feel, and the melody just kind of soars, and I really love it. And I'm looking forward to breaking it down for you today. First of all, thank you all if you are subscribing. Thank you so much. I'm up to 300 subscribers. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting up to 500. And definitely give a like, subscribe if you like this video, and if you want to see more videos like this or songs. I also do lots of piano covers, where I play piano versions, solo piano versions of different songs. So if you have ideas for those, put those in the comments as well. And hope you enjoy this breakdown. All right, as usual, what I do with my breakdowns is I'll play the song. Sometimes I'll play along with it in real time. Other times I'll stop the song and I'll break down the different sections of the song. So one of the really cool things about this song is, like I said, kind of indicated before, the melody. And I'm going to definitely play the melody for you so you can kind of hear what the notes are in that. It's just really interesting, and lots of melodic movements that are really, really interesting and work really well with the lyrics too. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to definitely play the chords so you can kind of get a feel for what's happening here. So Phantom Limb is, first off, it's off of their third album, Wincing the Night Away, which I love that title of that album. That's one of my favorite albums of theirs. I don't know if it's my actual favorite, but this is definitely one of my favorite songs of theirs, and probably going to break down the other kind of well-known song on this album, Australia, as well. So look out for that soon too. But here's Phantom Limb. I'm going to start right from the beginning and play it kind of up the first couple verses through that first chorus, and then we'll break it down from there. Here we go.
Frozen into cars, white girls of the north, filed past 151. They are the fabled lambs of Sunday ham, the HS norm, and they could float above the cars in circles if they tried. Late in power, I know to keep some hope alive that a girl like I could ever try. So we just skirt the hallway signs, a phantom and a fly. Follow lines and wonder why there's no connection and we could.
All right, we'll pause it right there. So a lot going on already in the song, and there's definitely a slightly unconventional, actually, when you look at the verses and the way he kind of writes them. And the one verse is a certain chord progression. The second verse is slightly different. It's like one chord taken out. There's some slight alterations there, and that's all done in service of the melody and how that melody comes across. So James Mercer, I feel, if anybody knows more about his songwriting process, put it in the comments for sure. But my sense of the way he writes songs is it's really lyrics and melody driven first. That's not to say the chords and the arrangements aren't great, because they really are fantastic, actually. But I feel like it starts with the melody, and then we find our chords kind of from there. Now this song, ironically, does kind of break that rule a little bit. He does sort of some chords that don't necessarily fit some of the chords, at least the way you would normally do them, but that's what makes it more interesting anyway. So first of all, before I go into the actual song here, our key, A major. So I want to break down all the chords in A major, and this is probably the third or fourth time I've done this, because I swear this is not on purpose. All the songs I've been breaking down, or most of them, have been in the key of A. I don't know if I gravitate to that key, but those are the ones that I just have happened to be doing lately. So A major. So A major, your one chord obviously is A major. If you're playing on the piano, A, C sharp, E is your A major chord. B minor is the 2 chord, that's your super tonic. B, D, F sharp, that's B minor. C sharp minor is your mediant, that's your 3. That's C sharp, E, G sharp. D major, D, F sharp, A, that's your 4, that's your subdominant. E major, that's your dominant, that's E, G sharp, and B. F sharp minor is your 6, that's your submediate. And then you have your leading tone chord in sort of strict diatonic chords is your diminished chord, G sharp diminished. Now, in pop music, as I've said before in other videos, we very often lower down that 7th note to create that subtonic chord, which would be G major. So, and for the purposes of kind of called diatonic chords in pop rock music, I'll kind of say that's kind of a diatonic chord, even though technically it does alter. It is an altered note from the key, from the key there. All right, but that's a chord we're going to come across in this song, and again we have in other songs where we've been working with that key, and any key that we've been working in, we end up using that chord a lot too. So those are our chords, our triads in the key of A major. All right. Now, chords of the verse here. Starts out in just a single note, A in the intro. And then we start on A major. And I'm just going to play through kind of these chords here. So A, D, B minor, G major, D, E, B. So that's verse 1. Verse 2, A, D, back to A, and then immediately to G, D. From here it's the same, I think. D, E, B minor, and then we end on A before we go to the first, what I'll call the first chorus there. All right, so here's our melody. So we just kind of go up the scale here. And then one more step. And then, so, frozen winter coats, white girls of the north. Interesting note here. That's one of those notes where it doesn't really sit on that chord, but it's nice. It's a nice dissonance there. And this note actually he's going to use in a couple different ways for kind of a dissonant, kind of slight dissonance purposes. So again, let me play the melody up here. It's a little easy. I like spreading it out more with the chords. And then D. So I'm playing that C sharp. The chord played is B minor. But the note he's singing up here is C sharp, so we'll call that kind of a 9th on top there. And then G, here's our G chord, our subtonic. So subtonic down to subdominant. And then we keep that 4. Right? Cool, really cool here. So you have, we're going up to that C sharp, that's a major 7th. That makes the major 7th of the D. And then we go to an E chord, which we hear the E chord, but the melody is F sharp, B, C sharp. So two out of those 3 notes are not in that chord, but it works. And right? So you have D, C sharp is a 7th. Okay, so that's dissonant. It's kind of a 6th, not really dissonant, but it doesn't really fit in the chord there. And then you have B minor. There's that kind of that 9th again for B minor, right? And then second verse, a little slightly different. So it goes right back down to the A instead of going to that B minor chord. think I'm playing a different melody there. I'm doing a later verse. So let's start that second verse again. So, very interesting. Now, our chorus: F sharp minor, D, E, F sharp minor. Then we have a really cool chord change here, and it's mostly because of the melody, I think, but we do a major six chord there. It's really unexpected. When I think, imagine hearing the song for the first time. It's a kind of a jarring chord. So you kind of have this. So I'll do the melody in a moment, but a phantom and a fly, and then I wonder why there's no connection, and then we're back to the verse again. So really, really cool change there. So. Right, so the melody goes B, A sharp, which turns that chord into an F sharp major chord. Real Brian Wilson feel on that. That really makes me think of kind of Beach Boys type melodies there. And then we're back to our verse here. So let's go back to the beginning. Let's kind of hear that whole thing from the start.
Frozen into chords, white girls of the north, file past 151. They are the fabled lambs of Sunday ham, the HS norm, and they could float above the cars in circles if they tried. Laden power. To keep some hope alive, that a girl like I could ever try.
Here we go to the chorus. Chorus 1.
So we just skirt the hallway signs, a phantom and a fly. Follow the lines and wonder why.
Great.
There's no connection.
So, verse 2, verse 3, I should say.
Cheap shots from the trial.
It's like verse 1.
Often you markers porch again. Another afternoon with the goat head tunes and pilfered booze. We wandered through mama's house. The milk
to
from
A.
the window lights. Family portrait circa 95. This is that foreign land with the spade on tans, and it all feels fine. Beer took aside.
Chorus.
And they talk one day hands to zombie walking our stay. This town seems hardly worth the time.
Different words, but still the chorus. Extended chords here. We'll stop that for a moment. We'll get to that in a moment. So really, really cool. So you get we got back to that verse 3. Cheap shots from the trial. Porch again. I don't know if I'm getting the right lyrics or not. Love these lyrics. And then we have the chorus again. Now, chorus, it's the first one was shorter. This one's gonna longer. Same chords, different lyrics though. Which again, this is a kind of a slightly trademark thing. I think that the Shins like to do, especially on this album. There's a lot of that happening. Now, new melody here, kind of a little embellishment of melody here. He's got so much melody in him. He just kind of puts something different here. With no connection, and then we're on to our chorus here. Our chorus 2, I should say. All right, we'll stop there. So, kind of the second chorus, really, really simple. The melody, pretty straightforward. So, pretty much it. And so the chords are pretty simple too. One. I'm gonna play it up here. Sorry. So A, D, E. Now sometimes when I hear the D chord, I do sometimes hear a second. There's at least 3 guitars, I think, in this. So I don't know like where the voicing, if it's the same voicing for all 3, or I think he might be playing higher on some of them. There's an acoustic guitar in there. I'm pretty sure there's 3 guitars. It sounds like there's 3 anyway. At least 2. But in terms of the voicing, I do hear that note, which would, so if you were playing on a D, like say on a guitar, you would just play it without string 1 going on the 2nd fret. You would just leave the string 1 open, and it would be a D kind of with that added with that second. sus2 we'll call it on up here, but and then the 5. So it's 1, 4, 5. Really straightforward. All right. Now, next part, we come back to our first chorus. All right, and let's hear it. I love that chorus. cut out before the fade out ends there. So really great song. I love it, and it's what's really cool about the Shins is that a lot of times, a lot of their songs, they will tend to use pretty conventional chords, even though the melodies are, I feel, at least in terms of when you listen to, when you think of even like alternative indie bands, like it's very, very melodic, and melodies are very interesting. But you will find that when you listen to them, they usually stay kind of in the key that they're in, and they don't really they use the chords of that key. And so when you hear this chord, again, so you have that first chorus, which really is in the key of, it's really an F sharp minor, which is the, you know, typical for A major. That's your 6. I just can't get off this chord. This is great. And then, right? It's such just a great use of that chord. It just there's just something about it. It really it's kind of a soaring type feel to it. So a lot of fun. So let me play the whole song now from beginning to end, and I'm going to play along with it and try to play as much as I can. It's a hard melody to actually play all as you're playing chords. It isn't super easy actually. I'm not sure if I would consider this a piano cover because it's a little problematic at times trying to get all those notes in. But I'm going to give it a try, and here we go.
Frozen into chords, white girls of the north, filed past 151. They are the fabled lambs of Sunday ham, the HS norm, and they could float above the cars in circles if they tried, laden power.
So that's the song, and hope you enjoyed the breakdown of it. And I definitely enjoyed going through it with you. And you know, honestly, I pick songs that I like. That's kind of what I do. But if you have a song that an idea that you'd like to hear a breakdown of, let me know, and I'm happy to, if it's even if it's something that I haven't heard before, to check it out. Maybe it would be something that I could do for a future video. But I just enjoy doing this, and I just like sitting down, playing, sharing what I've kind of learned. So if there's any other songs by anybody that you'd like to hear me break down, please drop it in the comments. And thanks for watching.